child speaks against the black male, they will be the problem, not the criminal himself. They will face extreme retaliation from an entire community of people who value the emotions of males over the safety of women and children. One of the instances that I haven't seen spoken about this is the reaction of black males to white males' response to BLM. Specifically that organization, but also organizations such as Antifa. These are mostly left-leaning groups of people who gained notoriety during the 2020 riots. What I found interesting after reading hundreds or maybe even thousands of comments from white males about how they are tired of this violence, there was a noticeable shift in the behavior of the black male collective. Despite them making up the vast majority of crime in America, they seem to have a problem with being the face of criminality. A black male named George Floyd, who was documented having terrorized a pregnant black woman, had his face plastered all over. This was the face of the riots. This is what people think of when they think of a violent criminal coming at them. And clearly the white male response to this violent outrage of this male losing his life is saying they want to physically stop criminals. There were stories popping up of white males stopping black male criminals jogging and stealing in their neighborhood. This is right around the time that we've seen an increase of black males pretending to be conservative, Republican, and having traditional family values. The reason behind the shift was obvious, but I haven't seen it spoken about. Usually when black women are researching topics about themselves, such as natural hairstyle tutorials, negative videos of black women completely unrelated will show up in the YouTube algorithm. Black males ran to social media to plaster all over the internet how much black women are violent and black women create criminality. Black women are the root cause for all things violent, left-leaning anything, and anti-American crime specifically. When a group of males are scared of the retaliation for their violence against innocents, instead of stopping the violence, the resolution seems to be to make someone else the target of said retaliation. The desperate pleas online for everyone to see black women as masculine has less to do with dating culture and behavior, and more to do with wanting to associate black women as a threat to males. Videos I've seen from 10 years ago has been reposted plenty of times in order to build a notion of urgency for this retaliation. The people who are committing actual violence would like for black women raising their voice to be seen just as much of a threat as a black male taking the life of a child. In addition to unprovoked discussions about protection and black women, basically the very essence and existence of a black woman should be seen as aggression against others, therefore justifying a violent response. In my research for this topic, I've seen several videos of black males urging non-black males, especially white, to harm black girls and women. One of the great examples I have is an African woman who came online showing that she was hit in the face with a brick. Usually, when we see crimes being committed online, we as a society sit back and let the authorities deal with it. Like I already mentioned, there is a very obvious no snitching rule within the black community. So of course I took notice there were plenty of black males who kept repeating that this African woman posted videos of herself attacking white males. They backed up this claim by posting skits with this woman pretending to slap one of her white male peers. Of course, the first thing that comes to mind is, what does this have to do with black males and hitting her with a brick? Absolutely nothing, but the attempt is to hide behind white male rage. Pretty interesting. While I don't typically consume content created by males since I'm a woman, on numerous occasions, I bump into certain males speaking online who let it slip that they are leaving the country to avoid this retaliation. Lastly, I want to mention the term victim being used to mock and silence victims. Again, I see it as completely insane that if someone doesn't want to be seen as a victimizer, instead of stopping their attacks, their response is to put the negative light on to someone else. In this case, the victim, most people will probably look past this and dismiss this as race politics. Typically, we see this term being used mockingly by white males. They will say things like, "This black person is being a victim getting offended by my racial jokes." And of course, we can see that it has a completely different meaning when used by black males. Instead, they are trying to get people to look the other way. when a sexual assault or violent crime is being committed against a black woman, again, trying to use white males to get around being held accountable for harming others. If a male decides he wants to try and rob you during high inflation, who knows? Maybe your public accusation will be met with claims that you are a man-hating feminist that wants to tear down America, and you should be put in prison for your false allegations. My advice to black women who actually care about their safety would be to purchase the tools necessary for self-defense. Practice with the tools and get familiar and comfortable with using them. Currently, black women are one of the fastest growing demographic purchasing these tools, but I haven't seen stories of black women using them.